Stephen A., would you rather have Ja or Giannis in these playoffs?
Listen, Giannis is an obvious answer. Let me say this to you. Let Ja Morant keep ascending. And I might go with Ja. I think it's a discussion.
I don't have Giannis in my top 10 most valuable.
He's not the MVP. To me, when you talk MVP, that means you're the most valuable player on the team. Your impact is the largest. And when I watch Giannis, yes, he rebounds, he blocks.
This might be one of the stupidest takes in NBA history. Only a few years ago, Giannis Antetokounmpo was putting up crazy numbers, being one of the most dominant forces we have ever seen on a basketball court. Despite that, his funky style has still been dissed way more than he's deserved. The Bucks superstar might be on his way to being one of the best players in league history, but he has still faced his fair share of criticism. So today, let's take a look at every time the media have been extremely wrong about Giannis Antetokounmpo, and when he, in turn, exposed them. Let's start things off with the clip you just saw of former NBA veteran Ryan Hollins having his say on Giannis being in the MVP conversation back in 2018. At the time, Giannis was consistently putting up 25 points every night alongside double-digit rebounds and a good number of assists. The Bucks were 25-10 on their way to a brilliant placing in the Eastern Conference. The strange part about what Hollins said is that Giannis was single-handedly winning games for the Bucks. He was doing it all for his team and had many clutch shots throughout the season. But that didn't stop Hollins from going on ESPN and saying Giannis wasn't even in the conversation for MVP. It wasn't the last time that Hollins unfairly criticized Giannis. I don't know why this guy hates the Greek Freak, but just listen to what he had to say after Giannis won the 2018-19 MVP award.
Well, first off, I want to congratulate Giannis because those believe that I've been incredibly hard on him through the whole season. But unfortunately, no, they got it wrong. He was not the MVP of the NBA. I do not know how it was not James Harden.
Hollins was thrilled when that same season Giannis was knocked out of the NBA playoffs early, despite his Bucks being the 1 seed. NBA commentators are not supposed to be biased, but just look at how thrilled Hollins is at the Bucks losing.
I remember somebody talking about how Giannis was going to dunk his way through the playoffs and yada, yada, yada. Listen, this man is right now, he's the most overrated in basketball.
While that take looks beyond insane now, it was still crazy back in 2019. At the time, Giannis was just 24 years old, a league MVP, and a 3-time All-Star. There was no doubt that the Greek Freak was on his way to becoming one of the best players in league history. Calling him overrated after a single playoff loss was a bit too far. After that playoff disappointment, Giannis faced some criticism over his ability to get it done in the playoffs. He won the MVP award in 2020, but once again failed to get to the finals, much to the delight of Hollins. 2021 was different, with Giannis making it to the finals for the first time in his career and overcoming a 2-0 deficit to become an NBA champion. Even during that finals run, Hollins was still downplaying the Bucks. Saying that the Bucks were not the best team in the East is crazy.
But I feel a little robbed, man. I feel a little swindled, man, not seeing the best of the best there. And I'm not saying that they weren't I'm saying they weren't the best of the best. The Nets were going to knock them off the Lakers.
They were the Eastern Conference winners and had beaten the Brooklyn Nets that Hollins wanted to see in the finals. After that Game 6 victory, Hollins still couldn't even give Giannis and the Bucks the credit they deserved. It's crazy that even after Giannis showed the world that he could still perform at the highest level in the playoffs and in the finals, Hollins was still saying some whack stuff. Giannis is a brilliant athlete. In that run to the finals, Giannis did it all for the Bucks. He averaged 30.2 points, 12.8 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks per game. In the finals, he finished off the series with a 50-point and 14-rebound performance. It was an incredible run, and it makes it even more surprising that fans were still hating on Giannis. The finals MVP title should have quieted down a few of the haters, but throughout his entire career in the league, fans and analysts alike have still done their best to hate on Giannis. Even former champions who know what it takes to be great have hated on Giannis in his career. Particularly before Giannis won that first title, it seemed like every single little setback the Bucks faced was enough for analysts to call him a bust. Just listen to what Paul Pierce had to say after the Bucks lost a single game in the playoffs against the Celtics.
Paul, you told America right after that game on Sunday, you think this series is over already.
Over.
By the way, the copy in here says essentially over. You didn't say essentially over. You said this is over. Are you still 100% confident,
I'm confident
the Bucks can't come back and win?
I mean, they may win a game, maybe two, but I just look at the talent disparity.
That's right. After just a single game, the Celtics legend was ready to call the series over and give the place in the Eastern Conference Finals to Boston. Well, let's take a look at the rest of that series, and then you might realize why Pierce's comments are in this video. In Game 2, Giannis would lead the Bucks with 29 points as they tied the series. But with the series heading back to Boston, you would think Pierce might have been right. Instead, Giannis averaged 36 points and 15 rebounds across the next 2 games in Boston as the Bucks stole control of the series. That talent that the Celtics had was not enough to put up a fight in Game 5 either. The Bucks cruised to a 25-point victory despite the fact that Giannis led his team with just 20 points. The Celtics became the first team in NBA playoff history to win their first 5 games and then lose the next 4. It's not just that Pierce was wrong, he was awfully wrong. The Bucks didn't just win 1 or maybe 2 games, they won 4 straight and embarrassed the Celtics on their home floor. Pierce had to eat his words when the Bucks won that Game 5. Pierce was so wrong that he had to get an editing team to cover over his mistake. Maybe it's not such a good idea to doubt the Greek freak. The prediction might have been just a little bit biased from the former NBA champion, who played almost his entire career with the Celtics. It seems like there are quite a few former players who have shared their opinion of Giannis during his last few seasons. Steven Jackson is one of those guys who loves to hate on Giannis, and he spoke about what he thought the Greek freak should do. After the Bucks lost to the Miami Heat in embarrassing fashion, Steven Jackson made his feelings pretty clear about the Greek freak's future.
So they just not going to pick up and carry the team in the playoffs. I knew that was going to happen, bro. He has to leave. He has to leave, bro. Nobody's going to Milwaukee. I've been there. I played there.
Nobody.
And I only played a couple games. I was trying to get traded. Actually, Matt, I told him I didn't stop going to games. I just stayed at home until they traded me. That's how bad it was there.
With this claim being made in 2020, we know just how wrong both of these guys were. For one thing, Giannis didn't need to attract any big free agents to Milwaukee. Literally the following season, he delivered a championship to the Bucks by defeating the Phoenix Suns in 6 games. But it wasn't just that factor that these two were wrong about. We just saw in the previous offseason that Giannis was able to land one of the big targets. Damian Lillard could have gone anywhere he wanted after choosing to leave Portland. He could have gone to major cities like New York, Los Angeles, or Miami. Yet he chose to head north to Milwaukee, and Giannis showed that he has the pulling power of other major superstars. I guess leaving Milwaukee was a pretty bad idea for Giannis. Jackson was a lot more complimentary when Lillard actually landed with the Bucks. There have even been times where Giannis can prove someone wrong in just a few days. Let's take a look back at that 2021 NBA Finals where Milwaukee was facing a 2-0 deficit. They were able to tie the series up after a brilliant Game 4 from Chris Middleton. Everyone could appreciate that Middleton stepped up when it was really needed and put in a huge performance. There is no doubt that Middleton was the best Bucks player in Game 4, but that's not enough to say he's the main man for the Bucks, right? I mean, come on, man. Look, Chris Middleton is a great player. There is no doubt about it. When he is in form, it's hard to stop that guy knocking down shots. But saying that Giannis is the Robin to his Batman is beyond crazy. Giannis has been the leader of the Bucks for not long off a decade now. He was the leader in that finals as well, having put up 41 points and 13 rebounds in Game 3. If there were any questions about who the leader of the Bucks really was in this playoff run, then Game 6 made things pretty clear. With the series on the line, Giannis put up a 50-piece double-double and gave the Suns absolutely no chance.
50 points. Only the 7th player in the history of the finals to have a 50-point game.
He put up one of the best performances we have ever seen in the history of the finals. Thankfully, we got to see Perk made to look pretty stupid after that monster performance from Giannis. Jalen Rose had a lot of fun, reminding the former Celtics center of all of his terrible takes on this series.
Chris Middleton is not Batman. That happens to be the Greek freak. And don't try to flip it and say, oh, now he's Superman. You could just say, that take was off.
It's always fun when you see the receipts pulled up. If you've ever watched ESPN, you know that Perkins makes a lot of stupid calls, just like this one. So it's a lot of fun watching those bad takes get exposed. What's the dumbest take on an NBA player you've ever heard? Put your thoughts in the comments down below, and while you're down there, smash that like button and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.